On tonight's episode, Joe explores the realities of producing a podcast, conducts some deep self-reflection, and discusses the most pressing issues of these crazy times.
Well, hi, Internet. You know this is, right? It's Joe, your gay expert. You know who I am. Yeah, I ain't seen you in a while. Listen, everybody's starting to go back to work. So old Joe had to go back to work. We ain't gonna talk about that. But while I'm going to work every day, I keep hearing all these advertisements about a podcast. Oh, I mean, everybody got a podcast. There's some journalists over there looking for some dead woman somewhere, and they're like, hey, y'all that listen to podcasts. Like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's what you want to do. Here's the deal. I'm reading the news, right? And they're like, people like, hey, Joe, you should do a podcast. Hey, Joe, what would a podcast look like if you were on it, man? You could bring like all these interesting guests and, you know, like Lion King, and they could come in there and they could do like grunt and stuff, and it would just like, it would just be awesome. Okay, well, that's a hard content to produce. So you actually have to have something like edgy, like something that a sucker would listen to while he's driving to work, rather than talk radio and the shitty music they play. So I had an idea. And I realized my ideas are terrible. You know, people ask me all the time, like, Joe, how do you get the courage to come out there and produce your channel, and where do you get all this interesting content? Nobody's ever asked me that. How many of you listen to this podcast ever been like working on a project and you're like, oh, dang it, I don't have the tool, or somebody stole it, or loaned it or I left my toolbox at my brother's house. Yeah, you know what it's like. And you're like, oh, I know this one guy, he's my neighbor, and he has a tool. And you go over there all like, hey, like all humbly, and you go over there and you're like, hey man, you got this? And he's like, yeah, of course I do. Yeah, just take it, bring it back. And you walk back, and you feel like your manhood is like your dog just like did a triple jump back and kick you in the nuts because you didn't have the damn tool you needed to fix the stuff on. It's real. The struggle's real, because and then you come home and you do it, and you're like, jump on Amazon. You're like, how much was that tool? And then you order it because you don't ever want to go back over to your neighbor's house and say, I don't have the tool that you have. I'm a man. I don't get it. I don't even know if this is funny. That's a podcast. Nobody gives a shit. Some suckers out there that believe that if they don't have a tool to fix their own stuff, there got to be somebody in the neighborhood that has it, and that's to their benefit. They're like, oh, I live in a good neighborhood because my neighbors have the right tools and I don't have to buy them. Okay, that's fine. But in Joe's world, you better have the stuff you need to fix the shit you have. Because you don't know when them other neighbors are going to be around. You got to be independent. You got to be self-sustaining. I look at it like this. If a nuclear bomb ever hit my neighborhood and everybody was dead and my house was the only place to survive, well, I want to have the tools I need to rebuild. That's just the way I look at it. It ain't no big deal. Moving on with the podcast. You know one thing I noticed? I go to the grocery store, they got these little signs. It's like, you can go this way and you can't go this way. They got these X's and these arrows. Nobody gives a shit. Ain't nobody pay attention to that. I mean, my God. Where I live, they don't even pay attention to stop signs. And these grocery store people think they're gonna pay attention to little arrows at the end of the aisle. It's ridiculous. Good job, idiots. You know, I'm glad you're watching this. Because you know how ridiculous the whole video content stuff has got? I was pumping gas in my truck the other day, and I got this video pop up, and I got some girl telling me about how my life could be better if I just watched her YouTube channel and did the things she did, and she spent like 7 seconds. And I'm like, no. I mean, and it's like on a repeat, and I got a big tank on my truck, so it takes a little bit. So I had to watch her like 3 times, and all 3 times they're like, no, not gonna watch your channel. Ridiculous. So I went to the local GameStop with my oldest son. We started looking around a little bit, and while we were waiting in line, they had they had a big TV on, and they were giving you gaming news. And one thing I noticed, those 2 ladies giving you gaming news, yeah, they ain't missed the buffet. Oh, if you ain't gonna get a cheeseburger past them, tell you what, ESPN, they want to put these supermodels up there and act like they sports experts, these former athletes, and you know, but that gaming channel they had playing in there, no. Nope. Nope. Joe ain't about it. So apparently if you would want to have a podcast, you gotta have some edgy content. So I went out there looking, and I was noticing all these citizens are suing the state and federal government over closing of the churches. And I'm like, well, that's not edgy, because we all know the best place to get chicken is Popeyes. Joe's life right now, man. I tell you what, let me give you a little quick update. These 2 suckers right here, that's all they do. They fight. What are you doing? Get him! Get him, Rambo! What, you want to be on film? Oh my God, Lee! What are you doing? Bye!